Hey everybody, today is June 30th, 2013, and this is my Wisconsin garden update. I'm walking around in the lake right now, cleaning up all these weeds that I just cut with the weed razor. And this is going to be used for mulch on my pumpkin plants, so that the squash vine borer doesn't dig into the stem of the pumpkin plants. And I'm going to put these all around it, and hopefully they'll prevent it. So let me show you what's going on up in the garden. Here's an update on my shoreline garden. Here are my jalapeno peppers. The deer got one of them, and the other one is drowning because the lake came up about 2.5 inches in the past 2 weeks, so I'm going to have to move these to a new hole. And the deer were down here this morning. Here's a clip of that. And here are my tomatoes, and I'm going to have to put some sand in the holes because they're drowning too. And then over here we have the pumpkins, and they're doing pretty good down here. Deer didn't really mess with them, so they must not like pumpkins too much. But yeah, you can see the water right here, so I hope that the lake doesn't come up too much more, otherwise I'm not going to have any pumpkins down here. I have two ways of getting into the Sleestack garden. Here's a path right here that's overgrown with grass, and there's another path that goes up that way to the other side covered with grass. And the problem with that tall grass is I can just walk through there once and I'll come out with 2 wood ticks. And let me show you my wood tick collection. This is my wood tick collection. And they're about to be fish food in about 5 minutes at the lake. And these guys aren't stupid. I could walk around them, and wherever I'm standing, they'll walk toward me. Well, I was just taking this trail up to the garden, and let me show you what I came across. Well, I was just going up the trail to the garden and came across this guy all curled up in the middle of the trail. And I didn't want to walk past him because I really don't know what kind of snake this is. I've never seen one with that kind of design before. He's got kind of like black behind his head, and you can see the pattern around him. And he's just taking a snooze there in the middle of the trail. Well, here's a different shot of him. Maybe you can see a little bit better. I'm about 5 feet away. I guess he sleeps with his eyes open. Here are my Big Max pumpkins. They've put on some amazing growth. Let me give you a comparison to my hand. I'll run over there real quick. These leaves are huge. Way over 1 foot across. Amazing. Here you can see I added the mulch, the seaweed mulch, to the pumpkins. And the stems of the vines are nice and covered, so the squash vine borer can't get at it. And then over here, these are my Jacoby Little pumpkins. Those are starting to do pretty good. And over here, if you remember, I only had one Pride of Wisconsin melon. A lot of weeds in here right now, but a lot more came up, so I'm all set on these. And here are my watermelons over here. They seem to be going slow, but I think they want warmer weather right now. And then over here are my, these are the butternut squash, and I didn't have any germinate last time, and I stuck a bunch of seeds in there and they all came up, so I'm gonna have to thin those things out. And then over here are my acorn squash. Same thing with those. None of them germinated before. Put a bunch of seeds in and they all came up. So let me show you what else is going on here. If you remember last time, the deer really took a toll on my beans. They ate about 1/3 of them, and I filled in between, and now it's all filling in. No bare spots, and the deer left them alone. My tomato growth is outrageous this year. You can see these are my Hoy tomatoes, and right there I tied these up as high as I could tie them up last time because I knew they're going to grow a lot. But all this is new growth from the past 13 days. Pretty amazing. And even the Wisconsin 55s are getting very tall. And I'm about to string them up again and cut all the suckers off. This Hoy tomato plant is already producing tomatoes, which is unusual for the Hoy because they usually produce later in the summer. But as you can see there, I have 4 or 5 tomatoes back there. Well, I was picking up a tomato stake that fell over, probably from the storm, and this little guy was under it, the stag beetle, and they're fun to mess with. You see there, that's pretty mean. He's meaner than Mean Mary. But they didn't get all of my sunflowers. Here are some that are still going strong. And here are my tobacco plants. This is Virginia Gold tobacco. And look how big those leaves are and how green they are. Really nice. Here's another one. Another one. And one right there too. And my wife can't wait to make a nice tobacco leaf pie. At the end of the day, what I ended up doing was filling in these holes a little bit for the tomato bags. And I moved the jalapeno peppers right into the lake itself, but in shallow water, so we'll see what happens with that. Because they were over here in these holes, and it was too deep because the lake went up. They mostly come out at night. Mostly.